So, surprise! I have bought a new rat cage. This is the Little Zoo Ventura. It is 93 by 68 by 158 centimeters, and today I thought I'd show you putting it together and setting it up. So as far as rat cages go, this one wasn't too bad to put together. It definitely would be a lot quicker if you had a second person to help, but the instructions are really detailed and that definitely helps. So you might be wondering why I decided that now is a good time to buy a new rat cage, or you just clicked on this because you're interested in this specific cage, but I just thought I'd quickly explain. So I've had my previous rat cage, which is the Pet Planet Rat and Ferret cage, for 4 years, I think. I bought it this time of year back in 2018, and it's okay. It does have a few issues. The door fell off at one point and it is getting quite rusty. But I just couldn't justify buying a new cage whilst this one was okay and functional as much as I really wanted to. That was, however, until recently I started volunteering at an exotic pet rescue, and they are in desperate need of big metal rodent cages that are easy to access, and I thought, you know what, this is the justification I need to buy a new cage. My old one could go to the animals, the sugar gliders at the rescue, and that was the push I needed to finally buy the cage I've wanted for a while. So here's what the cage looks like as just the bottom section, and you can actually buy this as just a single if you wanted to. I think it's around £180, but it is only £100 more to have it as a double, which is what I've done. So the reasons I wanted this cage specifically, and it's not a cheap cage, it does retail for around £300, so definitely not cheap, but I was really set on having this one. The first reason is purely for aesthetics. I really wanted a brown rat cage, and as far as I know, I think it's the only one like this on the market. Most rat cages tend to be black or grey metal, and most people probably prefer that, but I really wanted the brown one just because I feel like it would go really nicely with a naturalistic setup, and the combination of the two looks really nice. The second reason is the size. Now I did measure the two cages and it's not much bigger than the Pet Planet cage. I think it was 3 centimeters wider and 2 centimeters deeper, but the biggest difference is the internal height the rats can actually use, because this cage goes all the way to the floor, and the Pet Planet cage did have a big gap underneath, which was good for storage, but I didn't really use it for that. The rats are actually gaining 24 more centimeters in height inside of the cage that they can use. So this is great. This means I can utilise a lot more of that space to make a deeper tray for the rats and give them even more bedding. And don't worry, I'll film the entire process of measuring the cage, ordering the perspex, showing you how to put the perspex together. That will be its own separate video that should be coming hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I obviously had to wait for the cage to arrive to then measure inside of it to actually order the perspex, so that's going to be its own separate video, hopefully coming very soon. But it's going to be a much deeper tray to hold a lot more bedding. I think the one I had in the Pet Planet cage was maybe 15 centimeters tall. This one is going to be at least double that. Get off. Get off. Oh, well, that's not helping. Get down. Stop. Stop it. So overall this cage was okay to put together. I did struggle in some places, but that's more a reflection on me than anything. I did want to quickly mention some things I did notice. The first one is some of the screw holes did have pieces of metal blocking the screws going in. These were easy to dislodge though by just pushing the screw against them, so not the biggest issue. The second thing is there are some scratches on this in places, mostly on the trays, where the bedding is going to cover this anyway, so not a massive deal. I'm going to scratch this, the rats are going to scratch this over time, but at the same time, if you were to spend those £300 on a phone and it had scratches on, you probably wouldn't be happy, so I'm not going to send the entire thing back over a couple of scratches, but they are there. Overall though, I am really happy with the quality and I do feel like it's a lot more sturdy than the Pet Planet cage. I just feel like it's going to last a bit longer and not get rusty as quick. I hope not anyway because of the price, but my boyfriend said something about it being welded differently. That went in one ear, out the other. I can notice a difference, I just can't tell you why that is. Even things like the wheels just look nice. And they're really easy to push around, which is really good when you have a big heavy rat cage. So far it's early days, but I am really happy with it. Here you can see the new rat cage with the old one in the background and it makes it look so tiny. And then it was time to set the cage up and put the boys in for the first time. And because I didn't have the Perspex tray yet, I'm just using the metal one the cage came with. And to be fair, it does hold a decent amount of bedding. I don't think it's too bad, just using the metal tray by itself. So I've had the new cage for about a week now and I just thought I'd update you on how it's going. It is taking a bit of getting used to. I keep walking in and being like, whoa, what is that? Just because it's such a different colour, but the biggest adjustment is definitely the doors. Getting used to how they open. I think I was so used to how my old cage opened that I am not getting used to this one as quickly as I thought. So it is a bit fiddly just to open one door. I think on the other cage, this bit was on this side, so you could really easily open just one of the doors, so that's a bit fiddly. What do you think? Do you like the new cage? Don't think you're really bothered, are you? Same thing, just different colour. One thing I did notice, which is kind of odd, is the bars on the front are horizontal and on the side they are vertical. So when I was putting this together, I really thought I was messing up somehow, but that is just how they are meant to be. But so far so good. I really thought they'd make a lot more mess on the floor. This is like a day and a half worth. And most of it's come from this shelf, so not too bad, just this bit that I need to sweep, but I really thought they'd make a lot more mess given there's no perspex in the bottom. But I do think once the perspex has arrived and it's in there, the whole cage will look a lot better on the base and also on the shelves as well, so that's going to be really exciting and I think transform the entire cage. But when I was putting everything in, I felt like I needed to buy more things. It looked a bit bare and empty, but I've realised once the tray is kind of lifted up and there's bedding like up to there, all of this will be shifted upwards anyway, so they've got the same amount of stuff. It just looks a lot more empty and bigger, even though it's technically not. It's also been nice having a cage that's closer to the floor because the rats can easily get out for free roam. They don't have to use a ladder or anything, so you like that a lot better, don't you? You can come out more now. Yes. So that is my new rat cage, the Little Zoo Ventura. So far I really like it, I think it's great, and I'm really glad that I impulse bought this whilst I was in the depths of my emotions because I do think it's a lot better and the boys seem to enjoy it too. You will of course be seeing more of this cage in future videos. Maybe in a couple of months, once I've had it for a while, I'll do like a review video talking through the pros and cons once it's had a bit of wear and tear. And of course you have the perspex video making the tray for this cage coming up in the next few weeks, I think. You have that to look forward to, but until then I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!